I've got Bill O'Reilly on, and I want to talk to him about what President Biden did with Vladimir Putin. And I think it's the Washington Post that said he laid a red line down. Oh, dear God, I hope it's not like a red line that Barack Obama laid down. How do you think that went? What do you think is going to come of that?
Well, they say they talked for 2 hours, and I find that very hard to believe, because if it was that long, Biden would have needed a nap in between.
Right.
2 hours is not, something that he does. So, it's hard to be precise on this because we just don't know. Not a lot of leaks. If it were Trump talking to Putin, you would add the transcript about 15 minutes after they hung up.
Yep.
There's no leaks from the Biden people, which is a tribute to Ron Klain, the chief of staff. So I assume they all have little chips implanted in them, and if they leak anything, it goes, ooh, ooh, right away.
Well, I don't think, the one thing that Biden has that Donald Trump didn't is no enemies around him.
Oh, I don't know about that. These people that get into politics for a living, the swamp, they can be bought. And then there's a lot of that going on. And certainly the big news agencies would want to know if anything extraordinary took place, but we don't know. So let me give you an outline, and I'll tie it in because I'm hoping President Trump will illuminate this further on Saturday. So Putin's a bad guy. In addition to being annoying, he is one of the most annoying people on the planet because all he wants is attention. Mm-hmm. He's 5'4". He doesn't wear shirts. I mean, that's all. I
didn't know he
wants.
was 5'4". That explains a lot.
Yeah, the guy's wearing Tom Jones heels, and he barely gets up to 5'6". Okay, so he's just a little nebbish, who made his reputation in the KGB, slapping 6'4" people like me around, and so he's super annoying because he doesn't have to do any of this. The second thing is that he's a corrupt oligarch. Mm-hmm. Putin's one of the wealthiest men in the world, and his wealth is centered in Zurich, Switzerland, in a number of numbered accounts, where his girlfriend lives. The girlfriend doesn't want to live in Moscow or St. Petersburg. Why would you want to live there? She's in Zurich watching the money. How did he get the money? Kickbacks from all of the Russian industries. And Putin gets a piece of everything. So he doesn't have to mass troops on the border of Ukraine because NATO is not going to invade Russia. And NATO's not even going to accept Ukraine. They may give them a little aid here and there, but what is this? It's just to get Putin in the news. He's totally opposite Xi in China, by the way. So I want to get into this with Trump. I want to know if Putin speaks English, for example.
I thought of that too.
Yeah. Does he speak English? I mean, after all these years of torturing Western people, maybe picked up a few curse words.
He doesn't respond. He watches the interpreter as if he understands none of it. And I'll bet you he speaks really, or at least he understands English 100%.
So he can certainly read the Wall Street Journal. Okay. So anyway, Fidel Castro did the same thing. Castro spoke English, but he would never speak it.
Right.
So anyway, all Putin wants is to, present himself to Russian people as a mini Mussolini, and he struts around. So you got to deal with it. I mean, Trump had to deal with it in Helsinki. Biden had to deal with it on the call. But Putin doesn't care what you say. However, there's one thing that could bring Putin to his knees, and that is if Joe Biden signs an executive order that says no American banks do business with Russia, and if a foreign bank does, we're not going to do business with that foreign bank. That strangles the economy. Putin's net worth drops $80 billion. That is the way to go. Now, I assume that was the red line you mentioned, that the banks. Russia needs the currency because they can't survive without international money going in there.
Well, I don't know what the red line was, but, I would take Biden at his word when he says, I can cripple an economy because he's done it here. So I think he's probably
he's got a lot of practice.
Yeah, he's got a lot of practice over here.
And, but he can't shut down the Nordstrom or whatever it is pipeline.
Yeah. Nordstrom.
It's Nord something.
Yeah.
And there's the Germans are sitting there going, they made a deal with the devil. Merkel, thank God Merkel's out of there. So they make the deal with the devil that they're going to take natural gas from Russia, Germany now, and the pipeline goes from Russia right into Germany under the Baltic Sea. And now Russia gets currency from Germany. But if Biden says no more foreign currency going into Russia, then the Germans are going to freeze their tushes off.
What are the odds that he does cross that border and goes in and takes Ukraine?
I would say 4-1 against. I don't think that he wants at this juncture to provoke that kind of a reaction because the Russian economy is fairly weak. And you're just basically putting your country into a depression. It's like China. China's not going to do anything until after the Olympics. I mean, they could saber rattle all they want, but they're putting on an exposition in February and March that will rival Hitler's Olympics in the mid-1930s. It's the same kind of propaganda outfit.
Should we be boycotting that?
No.
Why?
Look, because you got to engage China. And this is another Trump topic. I don't know whether he agrees with me or not, but China is close to us as far as power is concerned. Not quite as powerful, but they're close. If you push them away and embarrass them and poke them and do all kinds of things, it's much more likely that they will invade Taiwan, that they will help North Korea, that they will even help Putin. So you don't want to do that. So they made some stupid diplomatic gesture that means nothing, and I didn't think that was a wrong move by Biden.
So you disagreed with Donald Trump's approach with the sanctions and how tough he was on China?
It depends what area it was in. He was tough on trade, but he never humiliated Xi, and he never went in and said, in a bellicose way. Trump was all about making deals, and if he didn't like the deal, then he'd say, well, we're not going to let you do this, or you're going to have to pay more to get your goods into. That's a tariff. They did that, but that wasn't, provoking anybody to invade or bomb or anything like that.
Last thing, Bob Dole is lying in state in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda. Joe Biden is going to give a speech, yada, yada. I remember in 1992 that Bob Dole seemed to be the oldest man on earth. Yes. He was, I believe, 68 when he ran. Hillary Clinton is now 74. Biden is 79. Trump 75. Nancy Pelosi is 81. Mitch McConnell is 79. Bob Dole was a spring chicken in comparison.
Yeah, because we have a system now where it's very difficult to move on up to the east side, as the Jeffersons once sang. You have in Washington maybe a half dozen people in the House and Senate that call all the shots, 100% of the shots. Didn't used to be that way. You used to be able to kind of gather power like Dole did in Kansas and kind of, go right through the system. That's why he got the nomination for president. He never had a chance.
Right.
I mean, come on. But he was a very brave man.
Yeah, he was.
And I don't know if Americans understand how the Battle of Anzio, if you read my book on World War II, Killing Patton, Dole, he was right in the middle of this thing, and he got, wounded for his whole life. Mm-hmm. Very patriotic guy. I think he tried to do the right thing. No taint of corruption around him. So I'm glad he's getting the honor that he is getting.
So the thing I thought of was that Bob Dole came from the generation that was the hero generation of World War II. And they didn't come back and write a bunch of books and beat their chest or anything. They just went back to work. And they were generally a humble group of people. the people we have in now are the 60s generation who think that the moon and stars have been hung by them in the age of Aquarius, and they're just not going anywhere. They're just holding on. Where Bob, he did his deal and he moved on.
You know, I said on BillO'Reilly.com on the No Spin News the other night that what Americans of all ages don't understand is the vast gulf between the baby boom generation. That's me. Are you in the boomers? Did you make it into the boomers?
Just the last year is my
yeah. So you're
64.
a boomer. I know the boomers are trying to expel you, but you're in there.
I'll be fine with
that.
Yeah.
The vast difference, because we were raised under parents and grandparents who endured incredible hardship with the Great Depression and World War II.
Yeah.
And sacrifice for the good of the country was the mantra. And if you didn't do that, you were ostracized. You were a villain.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's 100% different. It's all about you. You. Where's mine? I want. And so with that mentality, that selfish mentality that has permeated into the baby boom generation, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're not impervious to this. That you have a totally different societal outlook.
Yeah.
And that's why the permissiveness and the violent crime, and you let homeless people overrun property, and you let them shoot up narcotics, you let them do whatever they want, okay? That's just stunning to the baby boomers and the few greatest generation people who are left.
Bill O'Reilly, thank you very much. We'll see you in Florida. If you want to see the Trump History Tour with Bill O'Reilly, it begins this weekend, Saturday in Florida, and you can get tickets and all the information at BillO'Reilly.com. Thanks, Bill.
All right, always fun. Thank you. See you on Saturday.
Well,
Bye.
I'll see you. I'm not sure I'm going to, stop in and say hello. Be up in the rafters. I will need oxygen.